Onyx has recently released several updates, and I'll talk about what that is and what I think about it in today's video, even though nothing I say is financial advice, and even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. So Onyx, they made a post recently saying how they took note and released several updates when it comes to their wallet. Now, what do these updates include? Now, first of all, it was mentioned that there is multi-currency support, which I think is awesome because there's many currencies throughout this world. So supporting more of them, I think it's an awesome thing. 2 thumbs up for me. I think it opens a larger user base when it comes to their wallet. Now, not to mention the second feature they talk about, or the second update, I should say, improvements when it comes to locking up like Onyx when it comes to the wallet. So I think that's another cool addition as well. Not to mention, they say better support for large fonts. So I think it's pretty cool because, of course, when it comes to font, some people want it big, some people out there want it small, some people out there want it medium. There's a lot of preferences out there, right? So when I take a look at that, I think it's pretty awesome because if the user interface doesn't feel that good, if visually it kind of annoys people, usually sometimes they don't want to use it. So I think these are cool features that just make overall using the wallet a lot more convenient, I suppose. Now, not to mention, they say most importantly, though, let's keep in mind, they say the wallet no longer pauses people's music when opened. Okay, I suppose. Pretty cool, right? No one wants to be listening to Justin Bieber and then having the music be paused, when they open, the wallet, right? When it comes to the Onyx one. So, yeah, I suppose it's pretty cool. I mean, who knows what people are listening to nowadays, right? Is it Justin Bieber? Or maybe are people still listening to Jake Paul? We don't know, right? But I'm just saying, when it comes to this, I think it's pretty cool right here what I'm seeing. These are small updates, but they do matter eventually over the long run, so I think it's actually awesome that they still care about this. Other projects out there, they've completely forgotten all about their wallet, which it's kind of the norm, right? We see a lot of projects out there say, oh, yeah, we're going to be building this. Then they don't do anything, they don't upgrade. But this one still seems to be cared about. So I find it very fascinating. When it comes to Onyx, this year they did something so massive, right? Launching the mainnet of Goliath, their layer 1 blockchain. I think that right there just really set the tone for Onyx moving forward because now there's more substance. Now there's a place where a lot of these developers can actually build something meaningful. It doesn't mean they will, but at least there is that place now in the case of Goliath. Goliath is really focused on global trade finance, by the way. The emphasis is towards that. And sure, is it ever going to overtake the Stellar blockchain? No, I don't think so. Is it ever going to become more popular? Absolutely not. But again, it's the thought that counts, and not to mention as well, I think that this adds another layer when it comes to Onyx because Onyx, in my opinion, they need to step up their game. And they have been doing that. The reason why I say that is because their closest competitor, which is called Zebic, Zebic has been greatly stepping up their game. Take a look at the Algorand partnership, the Stellar partnership, and the Ripple partnership. Again, they've been doing things. So when it comes to Onyx, them doing this, people like to say, oh, who cares about what they're doing? Why not just chill? Well, they can't really do that because their closest competitor has been doing a lot of moves. They have to kind of match that, in my opinion. So I don't think it's a bad thing, what I'm seeing right here, when it comes to Onyx trying to improve. And also, let's consider, when it comes to Onyx, it's not like they don't care about AI, because allegedly they do. Take a look at the Onyx AI Agent version 2. It's pretty impressive. They're actually treating it seriously, and now they have more pathways to kind of, I think, achieve some sort of relevance, right? Okay, maybe if the angle of Goliath, which is this later one blockchain that's really focused on global chain finance, maybe if that doesn't really take off, maybe their focus when it comes to AI could take off, right? They have multiple ways, in my opinion. It doesn't mean anything is going to be successful, but at least they're taking multiple pathways. It's kind of like having a plan A and a plan B. Of course, the intent is to have plan A to work. Plan A in this case, of course, in my opinion, is really being focused on the global trade and finance space. But there's also plan B, right? We take a look at, in the case of, if the first plan doesn't work, there's a second plan, and I think that second plan is AI when it comes to Onyx. at least them being focused on that. I like the narrative as of right now a lot better than last year. Last year, we saw around $1 billion in terms of market cap. Right now, we're seeing around 200 million, but it doesn't necessarily make me upset because we're 5 times lower than $1 billion in terms of market cap approximately. It goes back to that. I'm celebrating, actually. I'm kind of going to Sizzler. That's my point of view. And of course, I'm talking about Sizzler, the restaurant, because when it comes to Onyx, at around $1 billion in terms of market cap, that by no means is an altcoin season. But if Onyx could just return back to that, it already feels like one to me. I'm not saying that it could, but who knows, right? We just saw that last year. And if Onyx could recover again, it's around 5 times lower than last year at a certain point. But it's not like I can find that with a project that's in the top 5. I just don't see it. If they recover, I don't know if they could do those type of moves. But a microcap, it just feels a little bit intimidating to me. So I don't want to go with a microcap either. I'm more so trying to find these projects that are around like 4 times, 5 times, 7 times lower than where they once were last year or the year before. That's just kind of my range, so to speak. I'm not trying to look for a microcap. I'm not trying to find the next best project of all time. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I'm not trying to get bored either with some of the projects in the top 5. That's just my mindset. So I'm just looking for that kind of in between, right? Where it's not too massive, not too small. And people like to tell me that Onyx is just going to completely become irrelevant, but really, I mean, I don't think about it that way because it has around 147,000 holders. And I actually think that this has a little bit more substance, right? I mean, if a lot of people out there still care about Luna Classic, I mean, in this case, what happens? This just randomly becomes irrelevant? Yeah, I just don't know if I think about it that way because Onyx, keep in mind, when it comes to a project that's focused on global trade and finance, Onyx is arguably top 6, in my opinion, when it comes to this space. Let's take a look at the first one, Ripple. The second one, Stellar. Now, the third one, some people would arguably say Canton, but some people also would like to say XDC. But beyond that, we take a look at Sebeg, Onyx, and followed by either Swiftcoin or XPR. Doesn't that automatically kind of make Onyx top 6 within this space when it comes to the global trade and finance space? Or the niche, I should say. So it's not like Onyx is completely irrelevant. That combined with around 147,000 holders and combined with how it's currently ranked within this space at 147th in the world in terms of market cap, usually these type of projects that have such a robust following and those robust fundamentals, it's typically very hard for them to just become irrelevant if, let's say, there was an altcoin season or if, let's say, the market were to pick up again. But all I can do right now is wait. I can draw all I want on a price chart. I can pull up the price charts, draw a random triangle and all this, but it does nothing for me. And the market just doesn't care about what I have to do. It's not going to move according to what I have to draw. So I'd rather talk about the updates, and I clearly did, right? In today's video, I talked about, again, several updates that they made when it comes to the wallet. So I just felt like talking about that. However, I'll be sure to make more moving forward, when they do announce more stuff. So yeah. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. It's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.